What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we're going to be doing week 2 NFL predictions like the title says. Last week I went 12-4 on my predictions. So yeah, with all that, we'll hop right into it with Thursday Night Football, which will be tonight actually between the Commanders and the Packers. The Commanders last week beat the Giants 21-6, and the Packers were able to beat the Lions 27-13. So it was good for both these teams to beat their division rivals the week prior. I got the Packers in this one. I think just because they're at home, they have Micah Parsons, who is very familiar with the Commanders. And yeah, I think the Packers are going to win this one with a score of 30-24. And heading to our first Sunday game, we have the Browns and the Ravens. We have AFC North football. The Browns lost their first AFC North game by a point to the Bengals. And the Ravens also lost by a point, but to the Buffalo Bills in a way more high-scoring and exciting game. And, I mean, the Ravens are a way better team than the Browns. I mean, they're division rivals, but I really don't see why the Ravens wouldn't win this game. I do think it's going to be lower scoring than people might think, because the Browns' defense is actually not as bad as you think. So I'm going to say that the Ravens win this one with a score of 21-14. Alright, heading to our next matchup, we have the Jags taking on the Bengals. The Jags were able to beat the Panthers 26-10 in a pretty dominant fashion. The Bengals won by a singular point to their division rival Cleveland Browns. And I think this is going to be a really good game. And I'm going to go with the Jags, and it might surprise you guys, but I mean, they have a defense. The Bengals don't. And I know the Bengals offense is unbelievable, but I mean, they can't just go on forever with this terrible defense that they have. So because of that, I'm going to say the Jags shock the world and beat the Bengals with a score of 28-27. Okay, we got ourselves an NFC East matchup between the Giants and the Cowboys. The Giants lost to the Commanders last week by 15 points, and the Cowboys lost a close game to the Eagles. So both these teams had their division games last week, and they both lost their division games. And, I mean, the Cowboys are going to win this game. I really don't see any reason why they wouldn't. The Giants' offense looked anemic against the Commanders, and that's the Commanders. They don't have the greatest defense in the world. The Cowboys actually were very respectable against the Eagles, who do have a good defense. So, I mean, I don't see any way the Giants win this game. I'm going to say the Cowboys win 31-17. And next up, we have some NFC North football between the Bears and the Lions. The Bears choked against the Vikings last week, and the Lions, they just looked very bad against the Packers. And this is definitely going to be a very good game. You've got Ben Johnson, the Bears head coach, who used to be the Lions offensive coordinator. I'm sure a lot of you know that. And that's going to be quite a storyline. I think this game's going to be pretty close. I am going to go with the Lions just because I trust Dan Campbell and the Lions offense more than I trust the Bears and Ben Johnson. And I'm going to say that the Lions win this game with a score of 23-16. Alright, next up we have an AFC East matchup between the Patriots and the Dolphins. The Patriots lost by a touchdown last week to the Raiders, and the Dolphins lost by a touchdown and then some to the Indianapolis Colts. And, I mean, I honestly really don't like where the Dolphins are heading right now. I just think their whole team is so dysfunctional right now, and I think it's only a matter of time until Mike McDaniel gets fired. So I'm going to pick the Patriots here. I do like where they're going. I think Mike Vrabel's a great head coach. I think Drake May is a tremendous talent, and I think with time they're going to get really comfortable with each other, the offense. So I'm going to say the Patriots win this one with a score of 24-13. And next up, we have the 49ers playing the Saints. The 49ers were able to take care of the Seahawks last week. And the Saints, to their credit, they lost, but they made it a lot closer than I thought they would. So credit to them for that. And I think this game, it's actually probably going to be a lot closer than people think, because Brock Purdy's a long shot to play. So I think that's going to be a close game, make it a close game, but I'm still going to go with the 49ers. The 49ers still have a really good offense, not really good defense. And I mean, they do have a really good offense. even without Brock Purdy. I think they'll be fine with Mac Jones playing at quarterback. And I just really don't trust the Saints to win a game like this. So I'm going to say the 49ers win 13-6. All right, we got our second AFC East matchup between the Bills and the Jets. The Bills had one of the craziest wins that I've ever seen, winning in the fourth quarter, and the Jets almost beat the Steelers, but they couldn't quite do it. But I do think they played really well, and I'm still going to pick the Bills. I mean, the Jets, I do think they could be a team to win more games than I thought they would, but the Bills are not going to lose a game like this. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets won, but I'm not going to pick against Josh Allen and the Bills, especially after last week. So I'm going to say the Bills win 33-20. And we got ourselves a DK Metcalf revenge game. You have the Seahawks taking on the Steelers. The Seahawks lost a close one to their division rival 49ers, and the Steelers won a close one against the New York Jets. So one team is trying to get their first win, and one team's trying to continue the momentum. And I do think the Steelers are going to win this game. I trust Aaron Rodgers more than Sam Darnold. I trust Mike Tomlin more than I trust Mike Macdonald. Not that Mike Macdonald's a bad head coach, but Mike Tomlin's been doing this for almost like 20 years. He's never had a losing season. And I think this is going to be a game where the Steelers buckle down. They're at home, so I think they're going to win this game 27-20. All right, next up we have the Rams taking on the Tennessee Titans. You have the Rams who beat the Texans in a really low-scoring game, and you have the Titans losing to the Broncos in Cam Ward's first career start. And honestly, this game's going to be pretty lopsided. I think the Rams are going to put up a lot more points in this game than they did last week because the Titans' defense is nowhere near as good as the Texans' defense. And I think Cam Ward's going to struggle against the Rams' defense. So I'm going to say the Rams win this one 29-13. All right, and heading to our first 4 o'clock game, you have the Panthers taking on the Cardinals. Panthers got pretty embarrassed by the Jags last week, and the Cardinals were able to hang on against the Saints last week. So you could argue both these teams were a little underwhelming. I mean, the Cardinals won, of course, but I thought they were going to win by more, and I thought the Panthers were going to at least keep it close with the Jags. So yeah, both these teams need to prove something, and I think the Cardinals are going to win. Bryce Young looked awful against the Jags. And I know the Panthers actually have a history, weirdly enough, of dominating the Cardinals, but I really don't think that's going to play a factor here. I think the Cardinals are going to win this game with relative ease, with a final score of 28-17. All right, and in our next game, we have the Broncos taking on the Colts. The Broncos were able to beat the Titans 20-12 in a relatively ugly game, and the Colts were able to beat the Dolphins in a relatively pretty game for them. They played great. And this game has actually became very interesting because the Broncos, who were expected to play a little better, played a little worse. And the Colts, who were expected to lose, actually won by a lot. So I'm still gonna roll with my Broncos. I don't see why not. I mean, I think that first game we played against the Titans wasn't great, but we did get a win, and the result was pretty, but the game wasn't. I mean, if that makes any sense. And I'm going to say the Broncos win this game 22-17. All right, and heading to our next game, it's a rematch of last year's Super Bowl. Eagles-Chiefs. Eagles beat the Cowboys 24-20 in the season opener. And the Chiefs lost to the Chargers in ironically, the second game of the season. So I think this is a pretty intriguing game. And I am going to go with the Eagles just because they're going to have Jalen Carter. I know there was the whole him spitting thing. He actually is not going to be serving any more longer suspension. And I think he's going to be the difference maker in this game. So because of that, I'm going to say the Eagles win this game 20-17. And heading to Sunday Night Football, you have the Falcons taking on the Vikings. The Falcons lost in a close game to the Bucs, and the Vikings won in a close game with the Bears. It actually wasn't that close. Vikings, they were down by 11, and they scored 21 unanswered in the fourth, and then the Bears scored a touchdown to make it look closer than it was. And I think the Vikings, honestly, they got pretty lucky last week to win that game. And I think the Falcons are going to be the first true test for JJ McCarthy. So for that reason, I'm going to pick the Falcons. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I mean, both of these quarterbacks are relatively inexperienced. I mean, Michael Penix played a few games last year, but JJ McCarthy, he's fresh. And I think that's going to open the door for a lot of defense. So I'm going to say the Falcons win this game 17-16. All right, and for our first Monday Night Football game, we have the Bucs taking on the Texans. The Bucs beat the Falcons last week 23-20, and the Texans lost last week to the Rams in a very low-scoring game. And honestly, I think this is going to be a really good game. You've got two quarterbacks who, in my opinion, are both borderline top 10. And you've got two teams with pretty good defenses too, and pretty good set of weapons. But I'm going to say the Bucs win. I think their set of weapons is better than the Texans, and I do think Baker is better than CJ Stroud at this point in time. And they looked a lot better in week 1 than the Texans did. So for those reasons, I'm going to say the Bucs win a close one, 23-20. And ending the week, we have our second Monday Night Football game between the Chargers and Raiders. Chargers beat the Chiefs 27-21 last week, and the Raiders beat the Patriots last week 20-13. And I think this is going to be another game that's really good. It's a shame that they're throwing these two games on two-game Monday Night Football. I think that's kind of dumb that they even do that in the first place. But the fact that it's two games that I think are going to be good is even worse. And I'm going to say the Chargers win this game. I think it's going to come down to the fact that I trust Justin Herbert more than Geno Smith. Not that Geno Smith's bad, it's just he's not Justin Herbert. And it's going to be another game I think is going to be lower scoring. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to try to run the ball a lot more, and I think the Raiders are going to try to do the same with Ashton Jeanty. So I think Amari Hampton and Ashton Jeanty are going to have good games, but I have the Chargers eking a close one out 17-13. And that's going to do it for my weekly predictions. Here's all of the score predictions if you wanted to reference that. And yeah, I mean, I hope you enjoyed the video. I tried to make it shorter because I know you guys probably don't appreciate it when I ramble a lot. So I try to just kind of cut to the chase a little more. So if you appreciate that, I guess let me know and I'll try to do more of that. And yeah, if you're still watching, I appreciate you for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Peace out.